Hey yo guys, it is me, SearingSorrow, and I'm back with another episode of Bad Fanfiction Reading. Today's episode is a chord, I said something. It's called The Night Time is the Right Time. Alright, here we go. Night Glider stood outside the door to Saffron Marcella's house. She's been preparing for this visit all week. Ever since she saw her out by the street while she was out shopping for rare herbs, she had been taken in by her. Yes, I'm probably going to get people that are going to be saying, oh, you're supposed to pronounce it herbs. Well, I'm guessing it's just, people pronounce it differently. Some people will pronounce it as herbs and others will say herbs. I've always said herbs, so please, leave me be. I did nothing to you to harm. I didn't do chiz to harm you. Okay? She had recently worked up the courage to ask if she could come over to her house sometime. She'd done the full work over. Professional haircut, decent business casual clothes, loud enough to look like she knew how to do a job, but quiet enough to not intimidate her. A subtle perfume as well. You could smell it. My perfume. What? Why did I just think of that? From Harry Potter. Yo. Oh, this is fantastic. Okay, Night Glider. Night Glider breathed into her hand and slicked her hair back. You can do this. Just do it like in the movies. What movies? Don't the movies usually have it where some kind of misunderstanding happens and you have to make it up with some grateful gesture of love? A thought intruded into her head. Do you really want to do that? No, Night Glider answered. I don't. And go away, voice. I don't want to hear from you again. Fine, but you'll be sorry for when you flub up. I said shut up. What's with these voices telling them to do chiz at these times? Like, come on, y'all wowin'. Night Glider sighed heavily. There was nothing left for it. It was either go through the door right now or let her anxieties get the best of her and make her leave. Saffron would probably understand if she told her as much, but she didn't like the idea of making excuses for herself. I know, right? Crazy. Night Glider walked to her front door and knocked. Saffron? It's Night Glider. Night Glider! Saffron happily opened the door for her. She was wearing a white summer dress, casual, but enough to let her sneak a peek at her cleavage if she was so inclined. I've been waiting for you, Saffron said, brushing aside one of her bangs and letting her inside. Oh yeah, Night Glider muttered nervously. That was not quiet. Actually, you should watch the Dumbledore Calmly. Did you put your name in the goblet of fire, Harry? Dumbledore asked calmly. Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire? No, sir. You white. Yo, I can't even. That was funny. Okay. Yeah, Saffron answered, walking over to a beanbag chair. I haven't been able to think of what to do for dinner tonight, and I was hoping maybe you could help me decide. Night Glider beamed. Now was her chance. This was a perfect opportunity to wow her. Mind taking your shoes off? I don't want the floor to get dirty, Saffron said. Oh my gosh. Stop. This is going to get to places I really wish to not guess. Sure, Night Glider kicked off her shoes and just for the heck of it, her socks as well, and sat by the door. Saffron's hardwood floor felt nice and polished underneath. I was starting to think I should just order a pizza, Saffron said. What do you think, Night Glider? No need, Night Glider said, brimming with confidence. How about I make you something special? Special? For a new friendship, Night Glider said. She took her hands. Here, you cook a lot for others, don't you? Let me cook something for you. I insist. My treat. Okay, well, I hope you can cook. Because, I mean, if you give your friend food poisoning, Or if you give your friend food poisoning, we're calling the cops. Saffron turned away from her, blushing. Oh, all right, if you insist. But I should warn you, I don't have much in the kitchen. Most of what I buy goes into the restaurant. No problem, Nightglider said smoothly, letting go of her hands. I'll improvise. As in, you're gonna be like a lot of people that tries to make up some of the strangest meals out of, like, maybe the fewest things they have in their cabinets. I don't even want to go into the details. Maybe I've been watching way too much of Always Poppin' food commentary stuff. Nightglider went into the kitchen, waving to Saffron as she went inside. Nightglider rubbed her hands in anticipation. She was still nervous, but this was something she had prepared for. She'd taken multiple online cooking classes in the days leading up to now to prepare, and she was ready to show off her chops. This is not going to end well. Okay, Nightglider said to herself. You can do this, for love. She raised a fist in the air, and as if she was going to charge. Nightglider set about familiarizing herself with the kitchen. She dug through the cabinets and found some rice and spices perfect for a side dish. Hey, well, at least you got some spices. You'll be able to. But otherwise, if she didn't have spices, there'd be like, there are no spices, where the cheaps? Nacho Libre, y'all. Looking through Saffron's fridge, she found some additional flavorings like lemon juice and set them out on the table. Oh god, this is gonna be so weird. Peeking out of the kitchen door, she saw set up his workspace. Nightglider saw Saffron and Masala kicking back and laying down in a recliner, getting cozy with the book in her hands. Nightglider tried to peek out at the back. Maybe it would give her a better idea of her taste for future reference. She noticed that she wasn't wearing her shoes and her feet were exposed. No, this is so gonna end well. She wasn't sure why, but seeing her bare feet made her blush. She had never thought of herself as a feet girl before, but if it was another thing she could appreciate about Saffron Masala's beauty, why question it? Nightglider filled a pot with water and set it on the stove to boil. When she waited for it to boil, she chopped vegetables on the counter, wrinkling her nose at the scent of an onion invading her nostrils. Don't we all hate onions? I know, and it just stinks. Her confidence and her rhythm were disrupted when a brilliant flash of pure colorless light came from the other room. Hey, Nightglider set up the kitchen knife down and went into the living room. Saffron? Nightglider called. Saffron was standing in the center of the room. Her arms snapped to her sides as if she had been called to attention by a surgeon. Are you okay? Nightglider asked, walking up to her. I'm fine. I'm happy. So happy. She moaned and turned around to face her. Nightglider was frightened by the wide grin on her face. It was unnatural, like someone had placed spreaders into her mouth. I'm a friend of Accord's. Wouldn't you like to be happy too? Nightglider, wouldn't you want to be Accord's friend too? No! This is bringing me flashbacks from another fic. Oh! No, this is gonna be flashbacks, yo. Nightglider nervously backed away from the kitchen. I have to know more about this Accord before I decide whether I wanted to be friends with them. She chuckled nervously. Oh, wait for this. Saffron followed her into the kitchen with a zombie-like stagger in her movements. Nonsense! All you need to know about Accord is that he wants ponies to be happy, and the best way to do is to become his friend. Is that right? Nightglider said, his danger senses going off. She glanced at the knife on the counter and thought better of it. Saffron wasn't in control of herself, but she'd never forgive herself if she stabbed her. Yes, that's correct, Saffron said. She grabbed Nightglider by the shoulders and pulled her forward. Don't you want to be happy, Nightglider? She raised up her leg, and pressed her toes up against her labia. She leaned in close, and whispered, "I can make you so happy," she purred into her ear. She rubbed her toes up and down on her mount. Night Glider's vagina twitched. She wanted this. She wanted Saffron to rub her feet all over her honey pot. What kind of euphemism is that? Oh, she knew it was a bad idea, but her hormones got the better idea of her. "Yes," Night Glider whispered back. "I want to be happy." That was not a whisper. That was more so just me being Dumbledore's version of calm. So calm. That is the calmest I've ever been. The rice pot boiled as it lay abandoned, its water overflowing and dripping down the sides of the pot, making the fire below it rise up. Saffron laid Night Glider down on her back with the kitchen towel. She undid his pants and pulled them down, exposing her weeping nether lips flush with arousal. She pressed the ball of her foot against her snatch. "You like that, don't you?" Night Glider blushed. Yes. Saffron pressed her foot down harder and harder into Night Glider's crotch, digging her heel into her cunt. "Do you like that, Night Glider?" Saffron asked. "Doesn't that make you happy? So happy?" "Yes," Night Glider moaned. "It makes me so happy. Oh, please," said Celestia. She thought harder, harder. "I'll make you the happiest you've ever been," Saffron said. "But if you have to be a Cord's friend." "Fine," Night Glider shouted. She couldn't take this anymore. Oh no, she needed to come. "I will be a Cord's friend. I'll do anything. I'll do whatever. Just please let me." Saffron lifted her foot up and slammed it back down on her crotch, and Night Glider's eyes rolled into the back of his head as she creamed her pants, squirting a spray of honey all over her panties. Okay, this is so wrong. Spray of honey. The weirdest euphemism I've ever heard. And then I'm not a fan of the word panties. Ew. That had to be done. There was a bright white flash, and a pang went off in Night Glider's head. Her eyes turned red and dilated, and her face curled onto a broad, forced grin. "We have to know and make someone else happy now," Saffron said. "Yes." Night Glider raised herself up from the floor. Her movements were stiff like a zombie's. "Make someone else happy." More like that episode, "Make Someone Happy" from Thomas the Tank Engine. That was interesting. The two of them went outside and made their way towards the castle. Along the way, they saw ponies running around. Ponies trying to resist being happy. They couldn't understand why. Why wouldn't want to be happy? Other ponies grabbed hold of the crazy runners and brought sense to them, making them smile, ditch their shoes, and create dark spots in their pants. And I feel like this is some sort of Joker chiz going on. One pony of note they passed was Twilight Velvet. Her face was broken to a half grin, one eye red, the other eye blue. She had her hand down her pants and was obviously stroking herself, muttering some nonsense under her breath about resisting. A dark splotch spread across her pants, and the grin took over her face and made the remaining eye red. Night Glider and Saffron arrived at the castle gates. "Hello, new friends," a smiling guard greeted them. "Celestia is expecting you." He opened the door for them and let them inside. Uh-oh, this is gonna end well. They were guided through the castle and up to Celestia's throne room. There, Celestia sat on her throne, waiting for them, while attended by two pantsless guards with their rods hanging out, all of them with smiling faces. "Hello, Night Glider and Saffron Macella," Celestia said, placing her fingers together. "It's so good to see you. Are you two happy?" "Yes," Night Glider answered, sounding sleepy. We're happy. Celestia put fingers to her chin and examined them. I think you could stand to be a little more happy. Guards, tend to them, and you two, tend to the guards. I think you know what to do. Sure do, Saffron chirped, chirpily answered. She and the night glider got onto their backs. The guards stood over them, their limp cocks hanging loosely above them. Saffron knew that it was their job to use their feet and make those guys not limp. Saffron moved first, raised up her legs and placing the Pegasus guard's cock between the balls of her feet. She rolled her feet around, rubbing and stroking and getting the guard to stiffen up. The guard moaned pleasurably as his erection took place. Night Glider, not under the spell for as long, hesitated. She got as far as raising his feet up and placing them on the rod, but after that, no rubbing came. Celestia saw this and stood up, the broad grin never leaving her face. She tapped her fingers to her head, and her horn glowed, and she sent waves of magic across the room, telecommunicating with Night Glider and Saffron. Go on, Glider, Celestia encouraged. Don't you want to make him happy? No, Night Glider answered. I don't want to make him happy. Something's not right here. Because chiz is going on. Because you're gonna be like the half of them people on that time divine clock crap thing, whatever for that as seen on TV product. Oh, that thing is just creepy. Okay. Doesn't making others feel happy make you... I don't know. Okay. You're correct, Celestia said. Something isn't right, and it's the fact that you're not happy. Doesn't making others feel happy make you happy, Night Glider? I guess so, Night Glider thought. Then do it. Make him happy. I don't want to. Aw, are you shy? Celestia cooed. Saffron is doing it. Do you want to make Saffron happy? Yes, Night Glider answered. I want Saffron to be happy, and I know that if you make this guard happy, you can make Saffron happy, Celestia said. Would you like to make Saffron happy, Night Glider? Yes, Night Glider said. I would. She rubbed the guard's cock with his feet. There you go, Celestia said. She sat back down, but her horn continued glowing. That's it. Keep rubbing. Go higher. Go faster. Harder. Make them come. Make my guards come. We'll make them so happy. Swallow it. Swallow them to come, and we'll make them happy. And it will make you happy, too. You'll be so happy after you swallow the cum. And you won't believe it. You'll be so happy that you'll never feel sad again. Doesn't that sound nice? I think that's going to make me... No, a part of Night Glider argued, a part way in the back of her mind, but her mind continued giving the guard his foot job. That sounds terrible. Without sadness, there could be no joy. Exactly, because you can't have joy without sadness. Oh God, I feel like somebody's gonna throw an Inside Out reference to that. Or an Inside Out joke. Pleasure doesn't mean if there's no pain, no sorrow. If we're all just happy all the time, then are we truly happy? And that's why I need to... Excuse for all that. No, really, excuse for all that. Yes, Celestia answered cheerily in his mind. Rub harder, Night Glider. The more you rub that big, strong cock, the happier you feel. Go deep. Deeper, give them into happiness. Succumb to a cord. Be happy. Deeper, deeper. And once you make them come and swallow, you can go the deepest you could go. Saffron, Night Glider weakly thought, turning over to look at her. She was happily stroking the Pegasus guard's rod without a care in the world. She had her mouth open, ready to swallow his load whenever it arrived. If she could be happy doing this, then I guess I can. For her, Night Glider thought, and she squeezed the guard's shaft hard. Yes, Celestia shouted, leaning forward from her throne. That's it, do it. Make my guard so happy. Happy, happy, all the time, Saffron cheered, rubbing the guard's shaft up and down. His erection was at full length now. It throbbed a little and shot out a rope of semen that Saffron expertly caught in her mouth, pushing herself up and swallowing the load as it went down her throat. I think next thing, you're gonna end up puking in the toilet. Let's hope you don't puke on somebody's boobs, like the way how Brie Bella did to Nikki Bella. Oh my god, that was wild. Some of the bubbly gum dribbled down her chin. Ew. Night Glider watched all of this with some envy. She'd love for that to be her vagina, her ejaculate, and for Saffron Mancella to swallow her juices. You can, Celestia whispered into her mind. You can have all that and more if you just finish making my guard happy. Happy, Night Glider said. Yes, that was. She could make this guard happy, and then she could make Saffron Mancella happy by feeding Saffron her own delicious cum. And then once he made Saffron happy, she could be happy. It all made sense now. Night Glider redoubled her efforts to stroke the guard's cock. It firmed up and twitched. Night Glider opened his mouth wide and just as well as Saffron had when the guard came and shot a solid rope of semen out of the tip of his shaft. Oh my god! Night Glider swallowed it quickly, barely paying attention to the taste. All that mattered was finishing the job and making the guard happy so she could make Saffron happy. The guard sighed, contented. Guards, give some space to the happy couple, Celestia instructed. The guards backed away, giving Night Glider and Saffron their space. Night Glider rolled over and climbed on top of Saffron. She looked so cute with the spot of cum dribbling down her lip through her chin. Night Glider's vagina throbbed in her pants. Celestia used her magic to help her out, unzipping and taking her pants off of her. Oh Lord. Night Glider pressed her vagina against Saffron's mouth and ground down, moaning as she thrust her tongue into her heated depths and lashed at her trembling walls. Oh my gosh. She could hear Saffron's thoughts while they were connected. Must make them happy, Saffron thought. Must make cum. Yes, Night Glider thought. Make happy. More cum. Cum makes happy. Happy makes cum. And can you stop singing that song? No, the treacherous little voice in the back of Night Glider's head whispered. Stop. Stop what you're doing. Don't you realize what Celestia is doing? She's using Saffron to make you submit. Can you see that? Oh, yes. Night Glider's grin grew, and she moaned loudly, spitting an oppressive amount of feminine cum into Saffron Mancella's mouth. Saffron moaned and stroked at her own genitals, turned out by the taste of Night Glider's cum, and made her wet down there. It felt like Night Glider was coming through her mind now. Her free will, her independent thought, all lost, never to return, oozed out of her vagina. Night Glider sensed Saffron's distress, and distress was unacceptable. AKA, we're calling the cops. Hello, 911? Yes, I'd like to report a crime. Yes, apparently they think that distress isn't okay, even though we can't. It's just getting annoying here. Yes, thank you. Okay, the cops are on the way. Only happiness was acceptable, so she turned around in her body and tore away Saffron's garments, pressed her fingers into her vagina, and fingering her hard. Saffron moaned, her voice echoing off the walls. Oh, Night Glider, Saffron said. You're going to make me so happy. The doors to the throne room creaked. Twilight Velvet stumbled into the room, her grin drooling slightly, and her hand still in her pants. She made her way across the room, totally ignoring Night Glider and Saffron Mancella, banging on the floor next to her and focusing on Celestia. Celestia rose as Twilight Velvet approached the throne. Twilight Velvet, Celestia cupped Twilight Velvet's chin. Are you ready, my dear? Twilight Velvet nodded. I'm ready, Celestia. Ready to be happy, so happy. With you, with a card, for all eternity. Very good, Celestia said. I have special plans for you. Twilight Velvet, plans you are going to help me with because that will make me happy. Oh, Lord. Of course. I'll do anything to make a pony happy, Twilight Velvet said. She fell to her knees, clutching in Celestia's dress. Please, please, let me come again. That would make me happy. I am sorry I tried to fight you before. I know better now. Celestia chuckled. Her horn flashed, and Twilight Velvet hollered as cum flowed out of her honey pot. What the hell? Night Glider had moved into eating Saffron and Stella out now, as she sucked and slurped onto her snatch like an anteater slurping ants from their mound. She reflected on the events that brought her here, giving condolences to the Nair she loved right in front of Celestia, in the throne room, no less. The more she thought about it, the more it seemed like a fair trade. Sure, she lost her free will. Sure, she lacked the capacity for independent thought, was part of happiness-obsessed, a sexually perverse hive mind. AKA, this is some really weird My Little Pony sexual, Matrix crap. But she and Saffron were together now, and for that, there was no price she wouldn't pay, even if it meant giving up her own freedom and Saffron's. As she ate Saffron out and sucked up the cum she blessed her with, she was sure she felt the same way. Oh my god, yo! That was weird. Authors know. I wrote the first draft of this under the mistaken idea that Night Glider was a male, and I don't know why, but if you see a pronoun that's not right, don't be afraid to shout. Well, I completely disregarded that, so who am I to care? But anyway, so hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye, guys!